Hello. Um, I am chilling in my room and I was gonna take a nap slash go to sleep because I haven't gone to bed yet. Um, but I have something to do at like 1-ish o'clock, so I thought I'd come on here, make a quick little live video. Um, it's probably the first day back for some people, people who are in school or work in school like settings. But yeah, pretty much everyone is probably at work, so maybe this wasn't the best time to do this, but hey, maybe I'll delete later. I don't know. Yeah. So, God, I'm so sleepy. I feel like I'll do my best to get my points across because I didn't have time to prepare for this little video, for this live chat. I wish someone was here to talk to me. Hello, I'm lonely. Please tune in if you can. um, yeah. Let us get on track. So, finding your highest good is something I've been mulling over for, I want to say, a while subconsciously, but it only recently came into my conscious awareness within like the last few weeks, probably. I joined like this online healing space, and I noticed this sense of feeling like the niceness or the kindness, the glowiness, if you will, that kind of energy being exchanged socially, emotionally, etc., between members felt really good, but on some level, I felt like it was fake. And out of self-protection, I think that I have distanced myself from hyper positive spaces like that, just out of fear that, like, my experience as an entire person, good and bad, won't be accepted, But I really so far, hello, a person. I really so far trust this person to be able to to facilitate like a level of like realness and care for this like online little community. So I asked myself, auto alchemy, hello. I asked myself, okay, why does people being nice, compassionate, and like kind of loving, honestly, why does that weird me out? Why does it almost repulse me in a way, you know? And I had to sit with that for a while because the answer did not come right away. I think for a lot of people who ask themselves that question, it doesn't, and that's totally okay because it's a big ask to put forward to yourself. But eventually, I came to the understanding that a lot of it had to do with lack of familiarity with radical positivity. So, I don't want to diss my current friend circle. Like, a lot of the people I know are super lovely, and have been there for me, and I've been there for them when I can, and, they're fun, sweet, genuine people, but I notice there's a lack of commitment to seeking out like one's own like pure personality core, like highest good. Like a lack of cultivating personal joy. Like just like not a lot of work on that front. And not that everyone has to do that or is ready to, and that's okay. But I started to realize that, you know, maybe, especially as a strong FE user, for me, this was holding me back because I'm just constantly surrounded by people who have like great ethics and good communication skills and like are good fun people, but there's an element of, how do I phrase this, psycho spiritual personal evolution missing. And I was like, damn. And I mean, my borderline personality disorder wanted to be like, okay, fuck everybody, but trying to hold myself through those feelings. But yeah, it made me think of how can we better recognize what our highest good looks and feels like. Oh, I just got a chat. Hello, chat peoples. Michelle says, you become like the people you are around, and it's nice that you recognize that you want something even better. Yeah, like the people I am around are like objectively pretty great people, you know, but yeah, again, something missing. And I think sometimes we can be hard on ourselves if we've been through a lot in our lives and we like change friends and friend groups really often. I take a lot of responsibility in that, but at the same time, like, that's also a sign that I've been doing the rapid growth to kind of catch up for like the emotional progression and stability that I lost as a younger person. And I know that I'm not alone in this. I know that this is like a common narrative for people who have to do this work. So, I mean, even for FI users, you know, people who are much more touch feelings, it can still be hard to figure out like, okay, what is my highest good? Like, what the hell does that even mean? It's kind of a mixture of understanding what that looks kind of like thematically, you know? Like highest good means to be in a space where you are often, not always, but often content, feel a level of inner stillness. I mean, those levels are different for everybody. You know, someone who is super, super introverted is going to have probably more of an energetic stillness than like an ESFP, you know, but still like a sense of some kind of stability and non-hyperreactivity to the environment, or like non-reliance on the environment to feel a certain way. Like, and that can run anywhere from the introversion extroversion spectrum, from like needing external things to or people to soothe, or to what's the opposite of soothe, to stimulate, I guess. Yeah, so when you're in your highest good, you still need those things because you're human, but your entire like personality and sense of core being doesn't depend on that 24/7. And when maybe you're starting to feel like it does, and you're feeling that sense of hyperactivity, that's a cue to be like, is my social environment reflecting my highest good right now? Is it reflecting where I want to be? Like, the key here is not to think about where you're most comfortable right now. The actress Shay Mitchell once said in a video that I watched this morning that when you get too comfortable, you don't grow. And I think that's true for people who are really comfortable and privileged, but also people who find comfort in their own trauma too. So, I mean, for me, like, I feel very comfortable around most of my friends. Like, I feel like my inner reality, like my feelings, my sense of humor, like my thoughts about the world are super well reflected, which is great. But there's a certain comfort in that because I don't have to try to do certain kinds of self-work. Not that these people like don't do any self-work, but it's often within the frameworks of like unpacking oppression and stuff like that, which is important, but it can be a bit impersonal sometimes and a bit spiritually removed. And a large part of what facilitates like human cruelty on a grand scale, the cruelty that, you know, my friends and I are supposedly fighting, right, is lack of touch with spirit and animism and a sense of oneness. So, because when you remove that, you start to. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation, but yeah. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that sometimes where you feel the safest doesn't necessarily reflect your greatest potential. And not everyone has to live up to their greatest potential 24/7. I'm not going to be that ENFJ and tell you that because that's not realistic. Like, let's be honest. But it's something to keep in mind. Like, does this pleasant exchange I'm having with new people or people I'm not as intimate with feel yucky? Why? And I mean, the why is super important because there might be good reasons why it's making you feel icky. Like, I've definitely met people and walked into spaces where, like, it was, you know, good vibes only, but at the end of the day, good vibes only means we don't care about your bullshit. We just want things to be comfortable. So that's not reflecting highest good either. So, I mean, keep an eye out for high protocol, like high positivity expectation kind of like subcultures and spaces and people and shit because that's not going to reflect greatest potential either because our greatest potential is being real with one another and holding space for that shit. That's such an FI thing to say, I know. But it's true. It's true. And I love that high FI users remind me of that because it can be easy to forget. I feel like there are some chat things that I missed. Let's see. Michelle added to her previous statement, so it's almost as if you feel some sort of criticism for their growth. Oops. Why does it disappear this way? Like they aren't doing as much as they could or should, or maybe they aren't ready and you are. Yeah, I think the last line resonates. Like, some people aren't ready, some people aren't ever going to be ready, and that's okay. And that doesn't mean you have to dispose of those people altogether either. Like, for me, I know what this is going to look like is that people that are a total mismatch, I'm going to have to draw some boundaries around. I did this recently where someone was really putting down a lot of the stuff I cared about, even though I explained to them why it was problematic, and like quietly unfriended that person after, like almost like INFJ door slam. I was like, no more. And she messaged me a few days ago, kind of offering an explanation, and I was kind of like, you know what, I appreciate that you reached out to me, but this stuff is actually really important to me, and I feel that from your message you still aren't understanding where I'm coming from, so I think I need to be a little more boundaried right now, and I don't really have the energy to like hash this out, so I'm sorry, but no. And that sucked to say, but I think it was necessary. Um, oh, it was so scary. I hate hurting people's feelings, but sometimes you have to compassionately do that in order to care for yourself, you know? Um, so there will be kind of, I think, with myself and others who are relating to this, kind of a sense of stepping back with certain people. Some people will fall away, like you'll lose touch, and that'll be organic and totally fine. And some people you will just like the dynamic will change and serve a different role. Like your best friend may become your touchstone friend that you talk to every so often. Where a large part of your relationship is held up by nostalgia, and that's okay too. Um, and I think once that begins to happen, at least for me in my circles, it'll like create space for people who carry that very particular self growth energy that I know I need, um, even though it feels icky right now. It's so easy to run from things right away that feel gross, especially with regards to intimacy. Like, that's such a core human need and a common core wound at the same time, which creates a lot of like really intense, hard to dissect. I shouldn't say dissect, hard to untangle feelings, beliefs, thoughts, etc., logic, even. Come on. Yeah. So I bring this all up because I think had I known this earlier, or kind of been aware of the nuance between like this feels icky because it's wrong and this feels icky because I'm scared. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, and had I known, I think I could have saved myself some bullshit. But not to be that bitch, but I'm gonna be that bitch for a second. Everything happens for a reason, and I don't. I just mean in the sense that like I've been able to like ascribe meaning to and derive meaning from like all of my experiences, and they've made me the exact person who I am today. Blah blah blah. So I wouldn't take it back now. And regret is often pointless, but I mean, I'm glad that I know now, and I hope that by sharing this, you can kind of take it away back home in your little back pocket and just like chew on it for a while. I think in the future, I want to kind of make videos like this that are a bit more not scripted, but like mapped out, and use language that appeal to more like logical types, because I know this is something that affects you folks as well. But the language is a bit harder to navigate, which is okay. But it's still important work for you to be doing, just like it's important for people like me to like work on my it took me like I developed TI a bit later in life than some. Like I had strong NI, but not a strong TI to back it up until I don't know. But the point is that we all have our sore spots, our tender spots to work on, and when we are like tender and open, that's the place where we can get the most fucking work done. And not just taking our personal responses at face value. Because if I were to, for example, like if I were to do that, then I would be like, oh, well, I don't like this, so I'm not going to engage with it anymore. And that's such like a natural reflex. And reflexes are there to keep us surviving. But they're not that great for thriving. So if thriving feels like something that you want to maintain or you want to achieve, or you want to even like entertain, then these are concepts and feelings that need to be like fleshed out, you know? They do. I think that's a good note to end on. This is a 20-minute video. I wanna let me know if you want longer, shorter videos or a mix. Everyone's probably gonna say a mix, but I'm still interested in hearing the feedback. Yeah, I keep asking for feedback, and I haven't gotten a lot yet. Except shout out to who was it, Lotus Vines, that asked for the ASMR stuff. I've been like thinking about what topic or type of ASMR I want to do next. I might do like a whispery video next time. So stay tuned, my friends. Stay tuned. Thank you for listening to this very stereotypical ENFJ Enneagram 4 video. And have an excellent rest of your day. Happy moon in Capricorn moving into Aquarius. Oh, I have one more message. Michelle says, we love your voice and these little motivations, heart tips, hearts, or at least we as an I. I'm glad. I think a few people do, and that's awesome. I love conversations like this, and I'm totally here to facilitate that shit. Hearts, hearts, hearts. Heart to heart. I can agree. Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you so much to the 4 people who are sitting here with me right now and the future viewers who tune in later. Goodbye.